Peace, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your foul player. Wanted to make this video regarding the Jermall Charlo interview with Mike Tyson on Mike Tyson's YouTube channel, I guess. It's called Hot Boxing with Mike. Honestly, I've never watched that show like that. That's kind of like Joe Rogan, like where I watch like a clip if somebody points me to it, but I'm not a big fan of like those long boring interview type shows. Not boring, I mean like it gotta be an interview I fuck with, or a topic I fuck with, not an individual necessarily. But I only watched the video because channels like Blood Boxing, CJ Goodfella, Mark Nash, Ether, Black Picasso, they were all like ragging on it. Like they were all like ragging on Jermall Charlo's conduct during the interview. And I took it with a grain of salt and maybe thought to myself, oh well, maybe those guys are exaggerating and maybe the interview is not as bad as those guys are drumming it up to be. But then I watched the video. I watched the interview, and God, everything that's wrong with boxing, embodied in 50 minutes of somebody's interview. And that was Jermall Charlo showing his ass during that interview and showing the pretty much typical PBC way of doing things in boxing's landscape. PBC, who is the biggest boxing promoter in all of boxing, if you hear them tell it and you hear their defenders tell you, PBC has the most clout and PBC has a standard of doing business that is second to none. And if you're not with the PBC, you're a slave, or you must have something wrong with you. You're a subject of a colonizer. All kinds of stupid shit PBC defenders will tell you. But when you hear it from the fighters' mouth themselves, on a stage that Jermall Charlo will never get to, as far as Hot Boxing with Mike, ain't nobody gonna give that dude an interview with that kind of platform, like with Hot Boxing with Mike. Nobody's checking for this dude like that, bro. Like the Hot Boxing with Mike probably gave that interview to Jermall Charlo because they didn't have nobody on the schedule coming up, and they probably got turned down by other boxes that actually mattered. But Jermall Charlo is a straight bird. And he may not, whether he's a bird or not, I'm not gonna and whether that's PBC that makes him and the rest of the PBC fighters talk evasively when they talk about what opponents they want to fight. I'm not sure if that's a Jermall Charlo decision, or I'm not sure if it's a PBC decision. I think it's the latter. I think that Al Heyman may tell these people, like, listen, as far as matchmaking goes, don't you dare say anything that is gonna pin us in a corner, because we have opponents lined up for you in the future, but that's up to us to pick and not up to you to pressure us into making certain fights. But you get a lot of that inclination during this interview. Like, you get the feeling that Jermall Charlo didn't want to call anybody out, with the exception of vaguely calling out Canelo Alvarez on that interview. Nothing much more than what he's done in the past. And it's not like he's called Canelo Alvarez out in the past with any vigor or any wow, what a great call out. This is regular shit. He's done regular shit regarding calling out Canelo Alvarez for 3 years. Nothing that's gonna pressure the boxing populace to say, listen, Canelo, you really gotta fight this guy because he's on your head. He's putting all kinds of pressure on you to fight him. Nah, it ain't none of that stuff. And you got the same shit with on this interview on his biggest platform, probably to date, probably ever, probably the biggest opportunity that Jermall Charlo got a chance to sit down and tell you about himself and about this fucking ultra macho boxer. You didn't get any of that shit. You got a confused fucking looking, a guy that's talking like a fucking teenager, unsure of what the fuck he gotta say. And I know that stuff happens more because of his promotion. It's not because Jermall Charlo is dumb, even though I do think he's dumb. I think Jermall Charlo's dumb as shit. I think his brother's dumb as shit. I think most boxers are pretty dumb. I think Jermall Charlo doesn't have a lot of character, like as far as like character that'll make you want to watch his fights. But I think any dumb boxer could freestyle and be like, yo, I want to, if they don't know what to say in an interview, for instance, and the conversation of, oh, who you want to fight comes up, you know, you should have like 5 names, bro. What the fuck? I mean, especially if you ain't fighting nobody like a Jermall Charlo. You should have like 5 or 6 names. My man had to like pressure him to give Canelo Alvarez as one of the people that he wants to fight. And that's not saying much that he wants to fight Canelo Alvarez. Everybody wants to fight Canelo Alvarez. But anybody, he ain't call out anybody else. He was vague about even calling out fucking Benavidez. And Benavidez on PBC. But that just goes to show you, like, them dudes at PBC have no control over their career. And you can see it very plainly in this interview. And also, I mean, like, another bird-ass move he did was when they told him to name his top people pound for pound. He's like, oh, well, you got to take Canelo off that. I mean, Manny Pacquiao off that list. All right, that's fucking easy. Like, Manny Pacquiao just lost to Ordenis Ugas, who was pretty much a nobody fighter in Ordenis Ugas. And he beat Manny Pacquiao handily. Of course, Manny Pacquiao's not on the list. But, of course, that was the first name that Jermall Charlo says. He's like, oh, Manny Pacquiao ain't on that list. But then he goes on and names a bunch of PBC associated dudes. You know, with Canelo at the top and fucking, basically doing everything in his power not to mention, that Bud Crawford is pound for pound top doggy. Like, my man, like, yo, y'all such bitches like that. Like, oh, well, we don't give those dudes on the other side no credit. Like, y'all such cornballs like that. Like, and I'm say what you want. If that's the tactic that they want to take, as far as, yo, we ain't gonna give these dudes over there no credit. All right, but as a boxing fan, like, when you say you're not gonna like give this guy credit or call out this guy because he's on that promotion, or we don't even engage these other dudes in conversation. What the fuck does that do for me as a boxing fan? Like, if y'all want to do that as a promotion or as a business move, like, fucking, I mean, like, you know, I don't understand it. I'm not going to say I do understand it. One, I don't understand that tactic. And two, like, in the terms of potential fights or trying to make potential fights or calling out somebody to make a potential fight, you saying that, you know, or you having that, like, that policy, if you will, on PBC of not only will you not call anybody out, but you're not even going to give people credit. You're not going to act like Bud Crawford doesn't exist because he was on Top Rank and now he's not on Top Rank, free agent, but you still don't give him credit or you still act like he doesn't exist. But that's the PBC fucking motto. Make everything dry and vanilla as fuck, and bore any sort of young fan, like, and not retain any young fan like that comes your way, even though I don't think that young fans are coming into boxing like that. But basically drive out whoever's left. I think a lot of the people that are being driven out of boxing right now aren't no hardcores, because aerosexuals are here to stay. Like, I mean, they're front and center. They're all about their husband. They ain't going anywhere. You know, and that's dudes. Like, don't think that I'm talking about no hoes that are aerosexuals, because they ain't no hoes that are in the aerosexual bandwagon. You know, that's just straight dudes, but them dudes ain't going anywhere, bro. Errol Spence could kill a baby on fucking video, and the aerosexuals will still stand by their man. But PBC isn't driving away no aerosexuals. PBC is driving away boxing fans who actually give a shit about the sport, like me. I mean, like, I haven't made videos about boxing with good reason. What am I going to talk about? Fucking somebody doing pads or some shit? Somebody hitting a punching bag? Let me know what you guys think, though. With that, I'm out. Peace.